Hello, everybody. We saw a couple folks pop into the chat saying hello, so we wanted to jump in a little bit early. I guess we are kind of starting right on the money at noon, though. For those that are already in the webinar attendance room, we're going to give it 1 or 2 minutes, let everybody grab their coffee, get their lunch, and kind of settle in. So we'll start probably 12:02. Alex, I know since you're up there near Dallas, you a Stars fan?
No, I'm actually not too into hockey. My
Okay,
main sports are football and baseball, and
nice.
unfortunately, not a fan of any of the Dallas teams.
Oh, well, hey, I'm kind of hockey's the only Dallas team I'm really a fan of. Just being down from Austin, you're kind of stuck between Cowboys and the Texans, and
Hmm.
yeah,
Dangerous territory. Dangerous territory to be in.
it is. It's fought over turf. We're in no man's land. Well, if you ever give it a try, they had a good game the other night. The Stars do, and so they're in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And as a hockey fan, that's got to be, I think, one of the best times in sports. There's just like there were 4 games on last night, all playoff games, which are pretty sweet. It's going to go for like a month and a half.
Yeah, I watched a few of their games a couple years back when I think they were deep into the playoff run
Mm-hmm.
with the final. But it's never been my game, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm originally from Jacksonville, so Jaguars are my
Nice.
football team, even when they're atrocious, which is a decent chunk of the time.
Yeah.
But hey, at least I'm committed.
Yeah, it's loyalty right there.
Hmm.
And I think the future's bright with T-Law. I think he can get it
Man,
figured
I
out.
hope so. I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
tomorrow night. Hopefully, we get a good pick.
Yep. Well, cool. We're getting right here to about 12:02. So if you've hopped on between now and then, I promise this isn't just a sports webinar. We are talking insurance payments and specifically our new integration with InsuredMine here, so that you can now take payments in InsuredMine powered by ePay. Uh, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Couple housekeeping items. We've got everybody in the audience on mute, but that audience chat is still live. So feel free to post your questions in there. We're going to do our best to answer them kind of as we go along. I've got another Alex behind the scenes, ePay Alex behind the scenes, who's going to help us answer questions. I know there's some InsuredMine folks doing the same. And then we'll stop at the end too to try and go back and make sure that we didn't miss any questions. We're also going to throw towards the end of the webinar, we're going to have QR codes available so that you can just scan it real quick with your phone if you want to get in touch with ePay or you want to get in touch with InsuredMine. We'll have a couple codes for you guys to scan. And then as always, we'll probably send out a follow-up email or something like that. So you don't have to worry about getting connected with us. We'll get it done for you. But I'm going to go ahead and start here. So this integration is part of InsuredMine's environment. So Alex is going to be showing you guys how that works. I just want to give a little bit of background for those folks that might not have heard of ePay policy before. ePay is a digital payment solution for the insurance industry only. We do pretty much all things accounts receivable and accounts payable. The main thing that we do is allow you guys to take credit card and ACH payments online, and then we pass on that transaction fee to the payer. So that's all done within compliance, and nothing's coming out of y'all's commission when you're accepting these digital payment methods. ePay has been going for about 11 years now. I had to do a little math, but we've got over 8,000 happy customers. That is probably 7,000 independent insurance agencies, about 400 or 500 brokers, wholesalers, and MGAs. We've got probably 40 premium finance companies and some smaller regional carriers. So, but again, we only process payments in the insurance space. We treat these folks very well. We've got an NPS score over 90, and we retain 97% of our clients with no contracts in place. One of the most important things is that we handle about 99% of the PCI compliance for you guys. So we can a very compliant solution. We do a lot of that work. It makes it a tiny lift on the agency. And then we're processing over $4 billion in payments every month. We've got a lot of industry endorsements here. We're endorsed by over 70 different associations and groups in the industry, and that's 41 state Big I associations, SIAA, Keystone Renaissance, a lot of your large groups there. And then odds are, if you haven't heard of ePay before, you've made a payment using ePay. So if you've ever made a payment to any of these folks, there's a good chance you've been on one of our payment pages. I'm going to kick this over to Alex, let him kind of give you guys the intro scoop on InsuredMine, and then we'll start on the integration demo.
All right, awesome. Yeah, thanks for the intro, Zach. As he kind of mentioned, my name is Alex Arizari. I'm representing us over from the InsuredMine side of things. To give you a little bit of insight on what InsuredMine is and what we do, we are an insurance-specific all-in-one CRM. We're currently working with over 1,000 agencies and networks, including those that you see on this slide. To provide you with a little bit more detail on what InsuredMine can do to help your individual agencies out, I'm going to kind of break it down to 3 main points on my next slide. Those points, I think, affect every agency in the industry. We're going to talk first about sales. Sales, what we do is we offer you a robust and very customizable pipeline module that can be used to streamline and improve your new business processes, renewals, cross-sell campaigns, but we also expand outside the sales bubble, right? We can help you with your service and your claims processes, all in the effort of helping you better focus on the things that actually generate revenue for your business. The second point is engagement. So for engagement, we help you guys design multi-stage campaigns. We can create unique templates, segment contact lists for better tracking and insights into your clients' behaviors. And then lastly, we focus on the analytics side of things. Everything you do in InsuredMine can be tracked and reported on, so you can gather those and especially useful insights for how you're performing within certain carriers or categories, how your agents are doing, how your individual producers are communicating and working with your client base. All of that can be done and tracked within the InsuredMine system, right? All of that is to lead into this new integration, right? Which is going to be the ePay integration. What this allows you to do is it allows you to send requests for payments for individual policies. So we're going to go ahead and switch over to my screen real quick, and I'm going to take a look at the demo environment.
Before QR codes back up. We will throw those QR codes back up there on the screen. And I just wanted to say how excited we are that we have this integration live and running. I know that we would see you guys at all of the major shows that we'd go to. Like, so we'd see you guys at Hug. I know we're going to see y'all at Accelerate coming up. So a lot of the big shows that we're at, we're always there together. And so I know that our mutual customers it's probably a very large pool here. So I know there's going to be a lot of folks that are excited to connect these two systems.
Yeah, awesome. And I think we're excited too to continue to see how this relationship develops and help everybody on this call improve their payment processes. So as far as taking a look at the InsuredMine portal, let me pull that page back up. The first thing I do want to show you guys is just a brief overview of how to set up this integration and how simple it is to get it linked to your InsuredMine portal. So for any existing clients or anybody that's interested, when you go into InsuredMine, click on your profile picture, access the settings module, and the very first thing you're going to see in settings is our integrations page. If we scroll down to the bottom of this page, right here in the right corner is going to be the ePay integration. All we need to do is click on this connect button. It's already updated and connected because I have linked my impersonation key. But all you need from this point on is to locate your ePay impersonation key, add it in here in this text box, and then click update, or in your case, you'll click connect, and then that will apply it for you. Once we've connected that, if we look over here on the left side, we're going to notice a new module has been added to your InsuredMine portal. That module is payments. Okay. Within the payments module is where you're going to find the payment dashboard. This payment dashboard is going to give you insights into any payments that you have sent out, whether they are pending, requested, or successful. Okay. This first report is going to break it down for you over a certain period of time, which you can filter from this drop down here in the top right side. We have currently looking at our last 30-day period, which will tell us over the last 30 days, I have 33 payments that are still pending and 9 that have been successful. This overview pie chart here on the right side will break that down for you by percentages. Okay. Then if I scroll down a bit, what I can see is I can see each of those individual transactions broken down. So over this last 30-day period, how many transactions have I had? You can see that Rachel has had a number of different transactions. What was the total amount of those transactions and the total count? Okay. Now we're seeing a lot of failed statuses over here on the right side. This is just because I'm using dummy card data. For you, hopefully, the vast majority of these are going to say success. You should only receive a failed status error if they are not providing you with the accurate credit card information. Okay. Now, as far as sending requests for payments, there's two primary methods that we're going to follow. The first, if we scroll up to the top here, from the payment dashboard on this rightmost side, we can click on this button to request payment. This will bring up a form on the right, which will then allow you to input all of the information relating to this client. The other primary method of requesting payments, if we access an individual client's account page, so let me look up Rachel Green real quick. From Rachel Green's Account 360 or Contact 360 page, if I scroll down on the left side here, I will find a section for payment. Just like on the payment dashboard, if I click on this orange button, it's going to pull up a form on the right side. The key difference between this form and the form that we saw on the payment dashboard is that all of Rachel's information is going to autofill for me. So I don't need to search for a name because I'm already associating this request with Rachel's account. Same for email. Then what I need to determine is how I want to send this request. There are three primary options here. We can either send it via email, we can send it via text message if you're using one of our three partners, or we have the option to send this request via both methods. For the purposes of my demo, I'm going to go ahead and click on email, and then I have the option to map this payment request to a particular policy. So we can see from Rachel's account page that she currently has a homeowner's policy on file. There's the policy number, and there's the premium associated with it. When I initiate the payment request and I go to the policy section, I can map this payment to the particular policy, and it will autofill the payment amount based on the premium number that's in there. The alternative is I can select other payment and then manually input the amount that I want to include here. Okay. Once that's done, I can add any additional notes that are necessary to the bottom of this request. These will come over in the email that I'm sending. And then when I click on this orange request payment button, what this is going to do is it's going to send out a request to the client. In the form of an email. So now from the client facing side, if I were to access my inbox, I can see that I have received a new invoice. I'll go ahead and open that up real quick. And we can see all of those details from the initial invoice request that I made on the agency side. The payment amount, the notes that I included, and who is actually requesting this payment of me, my assigned agent or producer. From my side, I need to click on this Pay Now button. It will pull up the payment portal, what policy this amount is associated with, and the full amount of payment. Ooh, I apologize. Then I will click on the orange Pay button. We're going to select one of these cards here. These are, again, filled with dummy data. But from your client side, if they need to add a new method of payment, all they need to do is click on this orange Add New button, and it will redirect them to add their payment information here. Once I go in, I will select the card that I'm going to be paying this invoice with. A second. looks like we're having a little bit of difficulty getting to the payment screen, so I apologize. Let's try this one more time. Okay, all good. So once we go ahead and submit that payment from the client-facing side, what they'll do is they'll receive a payment success email. In this case, it says payment failure. Again, that's just because we're using that dummy information. If they submit a successful payment, they will get a screen that pops up here and says payment success. Okay. If not, if there is a failure, they will see a message similar to this, where again, they just need to click that orange Pay Now button in order to process it. Once that's done, all of their transactions will then be visible here on the payment dashboard and visible for you to review. So you can see Rachel Green, when that transaction was made, the transaction ID, the policy number associated with it, the amount, and ultimately the status, which should either be failure or successful. Okay. So that is the ePay integration that we offer in the system. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the meeting room here and just see, Zach, I don't know if any questions popped up while I was in there.
Yes, I've been answering some questions on here. We had some questions about how to collect the payment from a customer in order to send the payment to the carrier. That would be that process that Alex just showed here. Your insureds will be able to make their payment via that email from InsuredMine, and it'll go to the payment screen. Nothing like a live demo, right?
Absolutely.
Got the errors. I do have a good question here from Ben. He's asking, is the payment info stored in InsuredMine? It looked like you could have some saved payment methods in there.
Correct. So on that first screen that we showed, you saw that I had that saved payment information for Rachel Green. Once you add the card, you can use it to pay future transactions.
Awesome. And then we've got another question from Joshua Baker. He asked, can you set up recurring payments, such as a monthly payment? Is that a feature that's available in InsuredMine?
So it's not currently. The most that we can do is you can send it out and we can set reminders for payment that will go out periodically, but there isn't an option for us to set up a recurring payment, at least not as of yet.
Okay. And that is something, Joshua, that you can do through ePay. Just normal ePay, we can help you set up recurring payments. It sounds like we can automate the notification to go out that will request that payment on time. So kind of like it just won't automatically process for them.
Correct.
But we can handle that for you on the ePay side. It would just be a little outside of InsuredMine. And Esther asked a question here, any additional fee to integrate with InsuredMine? Not from the ePay side. Nope.
Nothing from our side either.
Yeah, so if you're already using these, you can connect them for free. And then Leonard asks, can a customer Zelle us the payment? Well, Leonard, that would defeat the purpose of our integration here. We want the payment to go through ePay, so that's connected. If they Zelle you the payment, that's likely not going to sync back into InsuredMine here. This also, you got to get it's a little tricky with those generic payment processors like Zelle, Square, Stripe, those sort of things. Cash App, all those different ones. They actually, like, I know Square's terms and conditions explicitly state that they are not for insurance premium payments because they don't want to deal with all the compliance that's revolving around that. And so we've actually had some folks that come to us, they get dropped by Square, they lose a payment, and then they can't really do anything about it because they agreed to it in the terms and conditions. So it's best to go with an insurance specific payment processor because we're used to handling all these compliance and regulations around payments in this industry. And Jamie asked, is it possible to use this payment method while we send a signature? Is a signature part of InsuredMine here, Alex?
Yeah, so we do have an e-signature module where you can send out requests for signing. However, the ePay functionality is not in there as of today, but it is a good idea for a future feature request that we could potentially look at implementing.
I was going to say, we have kind of our two next enhancements spelled out for us here. We've got,
yeah, I mean, these are great ideas that you guys are
payments.
handed to us, so we appreciate it.
Yep. Let's see, let me get a pen here. Great idea. Jamie, and great idea, Joshua. Let's see. And signature. Yeah, because I know that's kind of the two things you need to buy in business, right? You need the signature and you need the money.
Absolutely. And I apologize if there's loud clacking coming from my side. I just wanted to make sure I got that in my notes.
Absolutely. Jamie asked, each person will have their own key. Nope. I think you just need one key from your ePay account, and then that will work for all of your customers. It's not like all of your payers do not need their own key. They have their own profiles here within InsuredMine. And so we'll be able to attach the payment to the right payer that's in your system.
Correct. And that ePay integration, when I was showing you the setup, it is important that I note this is done by the admin, right? So if you are operating with multiple users within InsuredMine, the admin will add the ePay impersonation key, and that will set it up for all users at once.
And we got a good question from Leonard at the beginning of the chat here. I'm scrolling back up. Just how do we get the key? If you need an impersonation key, just go ahead and reach out to ePay and we can get that for you. You can either reach out to me directly. My email is going to pop up on the screen in a little bit, or you can just reach us at support@epay3.com. And I've got that email also in the chat down there. Awesome. Looking for more questions here. My ePay Alex behind the scenes, do you want to pop up one of the other screen here? There we go. So now you guys, if there's folks that still need to get connected with InsuredMine on here, please go ahead and schedule a demo with Alex and his team. In just a little bit, I'll throw up a QR code for the ePay side if you need to get that part set up. And we've got a question, can the customer's payment information be stored for future use? Yes, it can.
Yep, absolutely. That first screen that we showed had the stored card information for Rachel Green. Once you go ahead and save that, it will store your card details.
Yep. And then we've got another question from Jamie. How can we distinguish which agents take payment? Is there any report for that? So is that, Jamie, I might need a little clarification here. Are you saying which agents within your agency are making these payment requests, or are you looking for just which insureds are making these payment? It sounds like you're talking more about the agents that are requesting payments from their insureds. Is there a report for that, Alex, or is that something that's just managed within the permissions of InsuredMine of who's allowed to send out payment requests?
Yeah, so we do have the ability to track that on the individual notifications and emails. It's not currently on the dashboard report that we looked at. But then as well within the restrictions option, you can toggle on and off who is able to make those permissions.
Cool.
Just like with
it sounds like a it sounds like a similar thing on the ePay side too. Like within our dashboard, you can add different users and then manage those users' permissions for who's allowed to send out these payment requests, what data they're allowed to see within the dashboard, that sort of thing.
And we do track it on the back end. So if you absolutely need to know who submitted that, we could probably look it up for you on the support side.
Excellent. I'm going to throw up the ePay QR code here. So go ahead and scan that if you'd like to get connected. Or again, if you just need your impersonation key, go ahead and shoot me an email.
I think Joshua asked a question about the fees again.
Yes.
Yeah, to confirm, there's no additional fees associated with it. Just the cost of your InsuredMine subscription and then whatever charges are associated with ePay.
I think Joshua's asking, it looks like he's an InsuredMine customer, but not yet using ePay. Joshua, to use ePay, it's just $25 a month. There's no contracts, no penalties to cancel. And since you're on this webinar, you'll get your first 3 months of ePay for free to test that out. So again, just shoot me an email and I can connect you with a product specialist who can take you through a little deeper dive on ePay and the other functionality that we have. A lot of good questions. Thank you guys. It sucks doing a webinar and then nobody asks any questions because you're like, oh man, was anybody paying attention? But we can clearly see that you guys are into this information. So I appreciate that. Yes, Rosie. So I see your question here. No worries. Thank you for joining us today. Rosie asked, do we collect from a client the payments and then the payment deposits into our account? Yes, it does. So ePay is going to deposit those funds right into the account of your choosing. We're going to deposit the net amount, so you never have to worry about somebody coming back in and pulling the fees from that transaction out, and then that kind of makes the accounting messy. So we'll just deposit the amount that was on the invoice that you requested from the client right into our account. And then from there, it's business as usual. So this is a tool for collecting premiums. And then once you have the premiums for that agency bill, it'll be your normal process from there for sending those on to the carriers or to the MGA. Ben asked, do we then apply payment from ePay? I believe it automatically applies to that policy, right, Alex?
That's correct, yes. So once you set the payment, you see that success message, it's been applied for the payment.
We got some thanks from Joshua and Rosie. You guys are very welcome. Happy to help. Thank you guys for asking questions. All right, I'm going to bounce back to the InsuredMine QR code one more time, just in case. For those, if anybody jumped on late and you need to get in contact with InsuredMine, go ahead and scan this code.
And then for anybody that's already existing client on InsuredMine, if you guys join this call and you want to know how to set up the integration, please feel free to either get in touch with your designated CSM, whether that's me or somebody else on the team, or reach out to the support team using that live chat function, and somebody will be more than happy to assist.
Yep. Jamie asked, does the invoicing option from ePay only live in the ePay portal? Yes, Jamie, that is a feature. We have a quoting and invoicing tool within our ePay dashboard, but then the invoicing option out of InsuredMine, that lives within InsuredMine as well, and ePay is just powering that payment behind the scenes. And then Joshua asked, can we add a broker fee to your invoice? Yes, you can. So whatever the total of that invoice is, if that, whatever your line items kind of add up to in there, if you want to add that broker fee in, you can do that.
And you can use that note section to distinguish those if you need to as well.
Nice. All right, flipping back to the ePay QR code one more time, and just because it has my email and Alex's email here, feel free to shoot us an email and we'll get you set up with whether you need to check out one of these services because you're only using one or the other, or if you need just help connecting the two, we can help you there. Jamie asked, can we go back and show the invoicing option in InsuredMine again? Yeah, Alex, oh, he's already too fast for me.
I'm already on it. So yeah, in order to request those payments from the InsuredMine side, you just need to click on this orange button. You'll open up the form. I'm going to locate the client I want to send this invoice to. So I want to send it to Rachel Green. It's going to ask me how I want to send this request. I want to send it via email. I will map the specific policy I am sending this payment for. And then you'll notice it autofills the amount. However, to kind of go back to the question we had earlier, you can edit this amount. So if you need to add on any additional broker fees or anything associated with it, you can update this amount to include those and then add that line item breakdown in the notes section. Okay. Once this is done, you will request that payment here. Let me make sure I select the correct email. And then they will receive the invoice in their emails right here. Okay. In order to process it, all they have to do is click their Pay Now button. They can submit payment, and then it will run through the rest of the screen there. Okay. Hopefully that answered it. Let me jump back to the Zoom screen though. So once, Jamie, once you receive that payment, they're going to send you over a success message via email, which is, let me go ahead and pull this back up. Both you and the client will receive a success message. This is a payment failure message because we're using dummy data, but that will have the copy of the invoice, which you can utilize for your records. And if you need to, let me go ahead. I'm going to share a link in the chat. This is a knowledge base article for the ePay integration, just to kind of show some of the things I wasn't able to show on the demo. Just by the nature of using that dummy data, you'll see that success message that allows you to download the copy of the invoice. If you do have any other questions, though, as always, please contact your designated CSM or contact your support rep from InsuredMine.
And then we've got a question here from Leonard who's asking, how does ePay send the carrier the premium payment? Leonard, this is done typically just for agency bill policies. So it's for those policies where you are manually sending that payment to the carrier or to the MGA. It's just going to continue to be your normal process. What we assist with here is the ease of collecting these premiums into your agency using digital methods. So if it's direct bill and that payment's got to go right to the carrier, we would suggest keeping your normal payment process for that. All right, we are at about 30 minutes here. I think, Alex, let's hang on for another minute or so, see if we got some fresh questions that pop in the chat, but I think we've covered a lot of the information. Are they able to download that invoice for their accounting purposes?
So there's not a separate download button for the transactions that you can get. It would be based off of that success message, that report. But again, this is something that we can look into adding as a future feature enhancement for sure.
And I think it will also depend, Jamie, too, on when you're binding that business. So are you binding business once a payment request is sent out, or are you binding that business once we get the payment success, like it's confirmed that those funds have been deposited into your account? All righty. I'm not seeing anything else pop up in the chat. So I think, Alex, we'll probably go ahead and conclude this here. And if you've got any questions that we weren't able to get to, or if there's still some clarity that you need here, just go ahead and shoot either myself or Alex an email, and we'd be happy to get you guys taken care of.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Zach, Alex, ePay, Alex, thank you guys so much for having us on the call and hosting this webinar. It's been a great opportunity to share what we can do with everybody on the call.
Yeah, likewise, man. I feel like I didn't do too much here. Just kind of answering questions. You were the man that had the action to show. So I appreciate your help too. We're, again, just like so over the moon to be working with you guys on this, because we know we've got a lot of mutual customers. So this is going to add a lot of value to a lot of businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys again.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody. Oh, I see Sandy on there. Hey, Sandy. Awesome. Well, ePay, Alex, if you want to shut this thing down, thank you guys all for attending. We appreciate you spending some of your lunch break with us.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great one.